All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The Israeli military has said that it is on high alert against an anticipated reprisal by certain pro-Iranian groups after the Israelis have been accused of carrying out the assassination of Hamas's political chief Ismail Haniyeh and also Hezbollah's commander Fuad Shukr. Israel is now looking to finalize an international coalition to help deflect any attack. This coalition, of course, remember, will be led by the United States of America. The question, of course, is what will this response by the Iranians be? Now, the American embassy in Lebanon has urged its citizens on Saturday to leave Lebanon on any ticket available amidst fears of an all-out war between the State of Israel and Hezbollah and a broader regional conflict. The reports earlier this week said that top Iranian officials are meeting with representatives of Iran's allies from Lebanon, Iraq and Yemen to discuss the retaliation against Israel. Iran is reportedly expecting the Lebanese Hezbollah group to increase its intensity of attacks on the State of Israel. It has also asked Hezbollah to strike deep inside the Israeli territory and not limit its attacks to just military targets. Now, the Hezbollah and the Israeli forces have been trading fire since October last year. Both factions have been targeting the military positions. However, that is expected to change after the Israeli bombing of Lebanon's suburban city of Beirut. The United States is now telling its citizens that despite the flight suspensions and cancellations and commercial transportation options to leave Lebanon remain available, and that American citizens should get onto any ticket that they can get and fly back. Iran and its allies are reported to be exploring two scenarios, a simultaneous response or a staggered response from each party. The reports have quoted that a leader of the Islamic resistance of Iraq, a loose alliance of pro-Iran groups, has said that Iran will lead the first response with the participation of Iraqi, Yemeni and Syrian factions. It's also expected to strike military targets, followed by a second response from Hezbollah. Now, Israel's Beirut strike, remember, had killed 7 people, including Hezbollah's top commander, Fuad Shukr. The Israeli forces had said that Fuad Shukr was responsible for the attack on occupied Golan Heights last weekend, in which 12 young children were killed. The Hezbollah, however, has refuted the Israeli allegation and has called for an independent investigation into the incident. Hezbollah has further said that any attack that it carries out, it owns the attack that it carries out, and it's not only Israel does not own the attacks that it carries out. Now, hours after Shukr's killing, the political leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, remember, was killed in a pre-dawn hit on his accommodation in Tehran. Iran has blamed the State of Israel for Haniyeh's assassination. Israel, of course, has refused to comment on Haniyeh's killing. On Thursday, Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah said that those who are behind the killings of Haniyeh and Shukr will get an inevitable response from the Lebanese group. Hezbollah has further said that Israel has crossed all red lines. Israel, on the other hand, has said that it is on high alert and is ready for any Iranian reprisal. All right, now to give us more perspective on this, we're being joined by Mr. David Dunn, who's a professor of international politics in the Department of Political Science and International Studies at the University of Birmingham, and he's joining us live on this broadcast. Now, Professor Dunn, this is what is playing out at this moment as we speak after the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh. Iran is expected to stage some kind of a retaliatory attack. What do you think would be the nature of the Iranian retaliation?
Well, very worryingly this time, Iran has gone quiet in terms of trying to its engagements with the Americans and other regional allies. So unlike in previous occasions when the retaliations have been orchestrated and calibrated to avoid escalation, the concern this time is that this will be a much bigger attack. That the Beirut capital of Lebanon being attacked was seen as one red line. The audaciousness of the Israeli attack and assassination in Tehran is seen as a step way too far for the Iranian leadership. And therefore, I think we can expect there to be a coordinated and large-scale attack on Israel. What Israel does either in response to that or an anticipation of that is open to question. And that's why the focus is on Lebanon, and asking all Europeans and Americans to get out of there as soon as possible is an indication that,
Right.
that Israel may strike Lebanon very hard.
Okay, now the follow-up question that I want to ask you is, do you think the Iranians are planning something like what they did on the 13th of April after the Israeli attack on the Iranian embassy in Damascus that took place on the 1st of April? The Iranians carried out a large-scale missile and drone attack on the state of Israel. Do you think something like that is on the cards?
I think that is on the cards, but possibly bigger, actually, possibly much larger. The attack was coordinated last time from Yemen and from Lebanon, and to a small degree from Iran to a larger degree. But again, it was calibrated. It went for military targets, it went for targets that wouldn't involve large civilian casualties. The speculation and the fear this time is that any Iranian and its allies attack this time will be much larger, and of course that possibly would provoke retaliation by the Israelis, or indeed preemption of military facilities in Lebanon as part of that or before that.
Now, the last time round when the Iranians carried out the attack on the state of Israel, the Americans had said that if Israel wants to retaliate to the Iranian attack, the Americans would not be a part of it. What do you think would be the American stance on any Iranian reprisal on Israel this time round?
It's a very good question, and it's not necessarily a clear-cut answer, because as far as America is concerned, there's two competing rationales. The Biden administration, and that includes Kamala Harris, want to avoid escalation, and that actually affecting the now imminent American election. At the same time, they don't want to be seen to abandoning Israel. And they may feel boxed in by Netanyahu, who in a sense has put them in this position by the attacks that he's carried out on behalf of Israel against Hamas in Tehran and Beirut. The Americans probably will have Israel's back, but actually you can imagine that the diplomacy behind the scenes is being fairly furious, trying to get the Israelis to rein in their ambitions, and to try and limit the impact of the escalation that Israel has carried out by these two attacks.
Right.
But the signals to nationals to leave suggest to be unsuccessful.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Professor Dunn, for joining us and getting his dark perspective there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.